Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't none but a thing, and the level ain't none but a number. Life ain't none but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball, waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chillin' with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't none but a thing, and the level ain't none but a number. Life ain't none but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't none but a thing, and the level ain't none but a number. Life ain't none but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball, waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chillin' with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't none but a thing, and the level ain't none but a number. Life ain't none but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't none but a thing, and the level ain't none but a number. Life ain't none but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X in the
What's going on, people? Fame Entertainment from level1gamer.com, and congratulations, you guys are leveled up to 172. This is the Double XP podcast. Thank you guys for rocking with us once again. As always, if you guys like the show, hit that like button and subscribe. We are at 580 on our way to 1,000. We're super excited about that. And thanks to all the love and support you guys have been showing level1gaming.com. I really didn't believe that would be our bread and butter as far as the company so early, but you guys have really showed up and showed out. That means you guys are enjoying the content that has been put up there every day. So thank you guys so much. So we're going to jump right into the introduction. Let's start with the man with the clamps. Citizen Snips.
What's going on, everybody? I'll keep it brief today. We have news that's about gaming. We have a guest named Dez, who's fantastic. And half man, half god, Demigod Reviews is about to become 1/3 man, 1/3 god, 1/3 hat eater, because he is going to have to eat some hats, and I'm excited about it.
I live every day to the day that Demi has to eat that hat because no, he can't use ranch. No, he cannot use
said
ketchup.
He wanted it dry. No pause.
He has to eat it dry and with a fork and a knife.
Sweet baby rays, no nothing.
No sweet, none of that. None of that. Now, usually I would introduce our communications director, Baron Jones, Baron J67, but he got an off day today. That man been working hard, so he got the night off tonight. But I will introduce the man who was did us justice as a company by reviewing Deathloop, one of our top writers at level1gamer.com, the host of Ready Press Play and Ready Play Movies, Chakalaka88. What's going on, Chief?
Chakalaka.
Hey, thank you. I feel like I'm the man of the hour, but let me tell you this right now. It is exhausting to be the man of the hour. There was just so much that I had to do with so little time. Like, oh my god, I can't believe I survived all this.
You did, and we're definitely gonna talk about your last 72 hours or so because you really got to play, one of the game of the year contenders at this point. So we're definitely gonna get up on that next. Next up, my right hand, man, the Floor Hugger. What's going on, sis?
What's going on, y'all? I see some what's up, Flameser in the chat. Hustle, what's up, Hustle? And is that my secret Canadian lover, Matt, in the chat? Burnout? How are you guys doing? As always, let me know if the audio is good. Make sure to tweet the
what?
tweet the stream out. I would appreciate that a ton, and show extra love to our guest and Kevin for his beautiful glasses and beautiful face.
Yo, I swear, like Hugger's batteries went low for a second. And she had to do like a hot
Do you
spot.
remember when it took me 5 minutes to say pigeon?
Yes. Fun times. Next up, the voice you hear every Sunday, the voice you hear every Wednesday, and the voice you hear every Thursday, and the host of the Peep Game Podcast, DALLAZ. Man.
Oh, you got me. All right. Okay, cool. It was appropriate.
Don't tell me you're muted.
Oh no, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, cool. It was. I guess it was.
Dallas.
It was coming at some point.
That's what she said.
Pause. It was appropriate. It was appropriate. Undertaker can't win at every WrestleMania, so at some point it's got to happen, and I can dig it. But I'm coming for you next week, like a surrogate. So, yeah, that was a bar. Don't you just go ahead and laugh? I know you want to. And every time I feel like it's been a long time, so I'm always happy to be here. It's crazy because our whole Matt kind of warned Dez about how we act in front of company, that we don't really
in general. Yeah.
anything resembling home training. I hope you got that warning.
That's okay. You should see our podcast because we don't know how to act either.
Oh, I know.
Y'all
I
really
was just
don't.
because I've been falling down the burnoutbrighter rabbit hole lately a little bit. So I was kind of crazy because in the back of my head I was like, oh man, we got to get them both on for a show at some point. Matt's been on, and now now we about to Now we're about to make you look even worse on the internet. So, you know.
I mean, we can't look as worse as when we had Alex on, because we started that 30 minutes talking about
yeah.
some off the wall bubble.
Oh,
we should
man.
have been banned off the internet for that episode.
We should.
Oh, wow.
The sus
Either
game
that or
came
blew up
through.
one or the other.
That's the episode you take out back and you kind of give it 2 shots.
You old yeller it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last but not least, from Burnoutbrighter podcast and the newest writer at level1gaming.com, Des, what is up?
Hey guys, thank you for having me on. Matt says my sound is coming through weird, so if anybody else can let me know. I've adjusted my microphone, but I'm really excited to be here, and I've gotten my 2 articles up, and I'm excited to write more. And yeah, just thank you so much for having me on today.
Now, before we get started on the topics, right, I do want to talk about Des. All right, this is all about Des because
Here's the
when
hot
we
seat.
first talked, like I didn't know that you did other things besides writing and talking about video games. You're also an artist. Can we talk a little bit about some of the other things that Des does, please?
Yeah, I also have a webcomic about 2 gamer girls called Pudding and Flan. It's going 6 years strong. I think one of our highlights is when we were featured on Board Panda and a couple of other websites who did articles on us. And I've been doing art for a really long time. I went to school for it, and my master's is in 3D special effects and animation for movies and stuff, but I don't really do anything with that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, not
Marvel's
yet.
listening.
I worked in the industry for a little bit, and it's just not my thing.
Understandable.
So I am currently grabbing.
Grab the link for Pudding and Flan because I've read it.
That's what I'm doing right now.
We talked the
That's
first
what I'm doing right
day,
now.
and she dropped the link, and I was like, "Bitch, this you?" It's kind of
I
cool.
was so excited when you knew what it was. I went and told my team. I was like, "Yo, this chick's been reading our shit."
Yeah.
Like, oh.
And I'm judging you. No, I'm kidding. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. I love the story. Pudding and Flan are
Thank
adorable as
you.
well.
Isn't it kind of it's a great feeling, but it's almost like, whoa, when someone,
Yeah.
right, that's I remember the first time Dallas told me someone, he had ran into some random person and they knew level 1, they knew about the website, they knew about the articles that were going on. I was like, holy crap, that's a humbling
big deal.
feeling,
Yeah.
right?
No, I'm excited, and I'm excited to be working with you guys. We just had a podcast with Ryan, who's the co-founder of Paddle Creek Games, and he's been shouting you guys out too since we did the article, and he has Fractured Veil coming out. I don't know if you guys have seen anything.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's fantastic. So you guys ever want to get him on the show, I'm sure he would be down to come on and talk with you guys.
You
He's
had me
amazing.
very interested in Fractured Veil when you put the article up, and it was also on Game Zone Daily. They had it up on their side. I was like, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I absolutely love when people can give these smaller developers that type of light, that type of shine, because I tell you all the time, the indie developer today is a AAA developer of tomorrow, and you just never know,
Right?
Mhm.
Right.
And plus, indie games are awesome, man. You always feel an attachment and love that you get from indie developers that you don't always necessarily feel when talking to AAA developers. It's almost like what do they call it, the AAA machine when we talk to
When we talk to
because he's the record Activision. He called
Yes.
it the AAA machine. So
yeah, if you guys
I'm dead.
also don't know, Externus, it's coming out. They still have to do some alpha stuff, but it does have a tentative release year, not a release date. So do a favor and wishlist that for Trevor, because he would whip my ass if I didn't promote it.
Okay,
Yes.
I will do that.
yes, Trevor, our fallen partner in crime. Him and Externus. We linked immediately after interviewing them for Externus. So definitely, I want that game to get all the love and support as it can get. Show some love to our homie Trevor. May he rest in peace.
And Cogs will be coming back. I'm definitely gonna have Chocolate on for an episode. It's gonna be probably pre-recorded because he has to work.
Work.
I'm good. Tuesdays, I'm off on Tuesdays. I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay, so we can go for
But-
a 5-hour Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, of course.
He said I'm
Alright.
down.
And then
Alright.
that'll be when I get yeeted off of level 1 gaming. RPM is gonna get yeeted back off this show.
No, you could
You know,
you could go during the
RP
mornings.
RPM can stay. You can just put it in a different time slot.
Mm-hmm.
You can put it in the morning time.
Earlier in the day maybe.
Or, you know,
Is it just me?
good.
Is it just me, or does it look like Chocolate using a flip phone?
yeah, it's not you. He using a flip phone.
Okay, I can dig
I
it.
don't.
I was
it's.
wondering.
I'm gonna say it's
You
Discord
know it's Discord.
Chakalaka
Yeah.
because
I see it. I can see it on the
understand
YouTube video.
because
because
When I
we
was,
all
um,
have really good cameras, and it makes us look pixelated 90% of the time. So don't worry.
I was just about to say that.
My
No,
camera's trash.
Discord's free.
You
They
and
get
Dez,
effects.
you and Dez got good cameras. In Dallas, I'm over here using this C920 boy, and
I just bought a new camera because at first I was just using the laptop one. So when we did our 100th episode, everybody else looked crisp, and I looked
And then you
just
look like a potato.
looked terrible. Yeah, and I was like, no, we can't do
she
this
said
anymore.
never again, never again.
So Des,
Well, listen,
I
oh,
gotta
well,
ask:
nope.
starting console and favorite game of all time,
My
or favorite game and favorite series, because I know those are often different.
Okay, so my first console ever was the Atari. We lived in Germany, and that's the first one my dad ever bought for us. And the first game I played on that was like it was a Smurfs game, because I was really little, but it was like a really janky version of like Word Paint. Do you guys remember Paint or whatever that was that first
Yeah.
came out? It was kind of like that.
Mhm.
So that was the first console. I think my favorite franchise is Final Fantasy.
Woman
So,
After Me Heart.
yeah, seven like did it for me. Like that's the first game I ever played that got an emotional reaction for me.
You're the
I
first
didn't
person
expect-
that likes 7 over 9.
Oh,
Really, I played 9 and I was upset because I beat the final boss. Like after Zidane hits like his fucking limit break, there's nothing that can stop him, right?
Yeah.
So I hit that and then I beat him, and I was just like, oh, I guess that's it. Because you don't expect to beat him the first time, right? So
That's true.
I was a little disappointed.
We're going to talk about that in another section because Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite Final Fantasy title. But we definitely going to talk about that when we get to the Nvidia stuff. But I do want to start off with Bethesda and Deathloop, right? Shout out to Bethesda and Arkane Studios for giving us a preview code. I said it before, I said it again. It is big for a black-owned, and yes, black-owned because Citizen Snips is light-skinned. It's big for a black-owned website that's been around a year to be able to get a preview copy before release, not on release day or the day after, preview copy before release of a highly anticipated, highly, what am I looking for? Advertised video game, right? So I do want to shift things over to Chakalaka because he did do our written and video review, which will be up on level1gaming.com. And of course, this YouTube channel, if you guys check it out, I'll have the links also in the description. So I do want to start with Lewis because he may be the only person on the panel who's played it. Maybe Dez. Dez, you had a chance to play it yet?
No, Matt played it.
Matt played it. All right. So Chakalaka, we are going right to you about Deathloop, about the score you gave it, and why you gave it that score.
I mean, I feel like I'm on edge here because, like, I'm like, now you guys are gonna be like critiquing my critique. You know what I mean? It's like some exception level shit there. But go ahead, ask away.
No, you jump in. Like, let's talk about Deathloop and your experience completing the game. Because I mean, you say it took you about 24, 25 hours to roll credit. So kind of go ahead and give us your synopsis of the title, what you experienced, and what score you gave it, and why you gave it that particular score.
So with Deathloop, it felt like it was like a hodgepodge of a bunch of games, and I had sort of like mentioned like Majora's Mask, I mentioned like Dishonored and BioShock, and like I mentioned a bunch of games, and it just sort of like it's a situation where like it's a first-person shooter-esque game where you can sort of like play it how you want to play it. So you can play it at like Metal Gear Solid style and sneak around and do like you try to stay out of everyone's like vision cones and stuff, or you can sort of just like mow everyone down Doom style and just kill everyone and like crazy glory kills and use superpowers and just mow people down. And I'm not that type of person that wants to take that risk, especially because when it comes to like first person shooters, I don't think I'm that good. Like as far as like I wouldn't play COD online. I'm not that kind of guy. So I don't trust myself to like not die. So I always was playing this game in a very scary kind of like a knot in my stomach kind of thing. So I enjoyed my play style, and I enjoyed what the game did as far as like giving me choices. It didn't feel like there was any one wrong way to play the game. One thing I did like think about after after having published the review, and I thought to myself when I was editing the video and I was seeing that there's not a whole lot of action in my my game capture because I was avoiding action, and so it made it harder for me to find clips of cool like spectacular things, and so where was I gonna go with this? But anyways, I'm just gonna say I'm losing my train of thought. Sorry. But as far as like the game itself, I had fun playing the game because it was just a lot to do and it was a lot to experience. And I ended up settling on a 9 because I think the game is like really top tier because it does a lot of things and it doesn't like falter. Like one of the things I said in my review is like so many ideas can either lack focus or it can crumble under its own weight. Yeah. Too much ambition kind of thing. And so I think for me personally, I think everything came together and it came together well and everything was like a well-oiled machine. And I had like nitpicks and like my biggest like hiccup, my biggest critique that I sort of like harped on my video review is that the game takes too long to start. Like it takes about 5 hours before you truly got your first superpower.
Whoa.
Okay.
So
I thought Kingdom Come Deliverance took a while to get it started. That's 3 hours. Jesus.
Yeah. I think it was about 3 hours before I stopped getting tutorials. Like they had to drip feed you mechanics and stuff in order to like not overwhelm you because the menu system is so much. There's like a web of like branching paths because you know how like when you mainline something that's like this mission has to happen, then this mission happens, and it's like a linear order. But at some point when you reach to a certain part, it branches into like 5 webs, and so it's like a lot to keep track of and a lot to like figure out. And the game doesn't really tell you, but it does sort of try to guide you, so to speak. Yeah. Oh yeah. And one last thing. When I lost my train of thought, I remember what I was going to say. The thing about that I should have realized, and I didn't realize until after I was editing the video, and the lack of action is that the game isn't like BioShock in the sense that in BioShock you had to pay for bullets, you had to hack machines, you had to like inject yourself to have you use your mana, basically like your superpowers. They do away with all that stuff. Bullets are free, magic is free, your magic meter fills up after 2 seconds. So I really should have taken advantage. In hindsight, I should have taken advantage with just like being not afraid to like go ham. So that's my only thing I was gonna say.
So we got a question in the chat from the burnoutbrighter. I'm gonna assume this is Matt running the handle. He asked, "How did you like Juliana's invasions?"
She kind of felt dumb. Like her AI.
Wow.
Tell us the truth.
Oh, you didn't have any human interaction with that when you were doing your review?
No. I had it set to friends only, so that's not gonna. No one's gonna invade me when I'm playing it pre-release. Cool. I tried invading someone's game, but I couldn't find anyone. It was like searching until it just timed out. So, granted,
because I was concerned about that for you, Chocolate. Yeah. I was like, how is he really gonna really experience a multiplayer if there's not very many people, playing it, and then it's a split player base between the PC and PS5. Like, I was really wondering how you was going to experience that multiplayer.
If I were to experience it, I'd have to experience it now, about post-release or after I published everything. But no, like I'm not about that life. I'm not like I don't want to try to put that challenge. The game is already hard enough as it is for me. Like I'm already stressed playing the game. I didn't need that like a human person trying to like one me. I don't need anyone trying to outsmart me, okay? So, yeah, let's...
Now I wish they would have given us 2 codes, just so I could have come in and, like, wrecked your whole world while you were...
After kind of having a perfect run and you're fucking it up, die.
I gotta
I've seen people say that's one of their favorite parts of the game is just being Julian and grieving people's games. Juliana, sorry, Julian. Am I watching Baby Boy? My bad, go ahead.
I gotta ask. So there's been a lot of, like, contention with this game, especially after Dishonored 2, and how Dishonored 2 was an okay game. It had a lot to it, but it kind of felt hollow. Bear and I were just talking about this earlier, where he rushed through it, and my favorite part of that game is the last with the witches of West, whatever they are. That's the best part of the game, but he rushed through it. And Prey was kind of like, it was okay, but it wasn't great. Does this start reviving? Is this doing the Dragon Age Inquisition for BioWare, and is this Arkane's start reviving their good stuff, or is this another like a mediocre?
No, I think it's well. Let me preface this by saying I've never played any Arcane studio games. So I never played Dishonored. I never played Prey. So I'm not the person to ask. But I will say,
It's on Game Pass.
having played the game, thanks for putting me on. Having said that, I think I started off my first Arcane game is like pretty good as far as like the fact that I gave it a 9. It's like I think that it's a good strong start. I think it's a good place for someone to just hop in, especially because it's a non-established franchise. You don't have to like worry about lore or anything like that. So I think the game is fun, and I think I've seen like Twitch streams. I know what the play styles are of Dishonored and Prey. I know what they are, and I know that style. And I think this is sort of just like that evolution of that style, kind of sort of like tinkered with and maybe a little perfected as far from a gameplay perspective.
Okay.
I do want to ask Dez. So I know you say you ever had an opportunity to play the game, but I know you've seen lots of things online. You've seen the scores, things like that. So I want to ask you kind of a 2-part question. Number one, what are your thoughts on the things you have seen, especially in regards to getting the 10s? There's a lot of 10s this game is getting, right? And then also, does this give you faith in their upcoming game, which comes out in for all we know in the next 8 months or so, Redfall? I want to know your thoughts about Deathloop and the potential for their next game, because they've been on a roll.
So the first thing that I noticed about Deathloop was like the narrative design and just like the design of the overall game, which I thought was really well done. I like a game with characters, and this game definitely has strong characters. I feel like I would play it a lot like, oh my god, I can't think of your name. I'm so sorry.
Chakalaka.
Chakalaka. I am
Yes.
so sorry. I feel like I would play it like him because I do not like the idea of other people coming in and fucking up what I'm doing. So I'm glad that there's like an option for that. I wanted to play the game, but we only got one code for it. Also, I like to enjoy playing the game, so I don't like trying to get shit out before embargo. Like, I just want to play it at my own speed. But what I've seen from it, I think is really, really strong. And what I've seen from Redfall, just from the videos, I'm excited about that too. So hopefully it'll be just as good as this game is. Because all I've heard is like praising, like game of the year talk. So
See, we should have had Matt and Lewis get together then. They could have could have agreed. I'm just saying, because me personally, I'm all about I don't like stealth in games. Like if it's a game where you have to be stealthy, none.
You have going guns blazing like Rambo.
Every game that's like sneak in, I'm like, nope, dual wheel.
We're playing
and I'm gonna fight my way through it.
We're playing Back for Blood, and we're like, don't run ahead because we can't save you if you go too far. Where is this guy? The other side of the map. It's like, I hope you die. I hate this.
I'm telling you,
when we were playing Take Two, or It Takes Two, I would be, Fame, there's a thing here for your achievements, because I guess I didn't give achievements because I was on guest pass, and he's all the way already to the next puzzle, and I'm like, this bitch.
He's a Leroy Jenkins.
That's like Baron.
For nobody.
Leroy Jenkins.
Me and Baron.
Waiting for nobody.
Me and Baron, we play Remastered a lot, and he'd be like, "Oh, hold on a second, I gotta go, help my daughter feed her or something like that." He's like, "I'll be right back." He comes back. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in a boss fight because I kept on
Right?
like, I don't have time, bro.
No pause for me.
I don't have the time. I don't have the pace. So games like that, like when I play Deathloop, I'm going in guns blazing. There's no stealth. I'm all about that action, so I'm gonna have my online turned on. If you want the problems, I am here for it. And best believe I'm coming into your game because I want to ruin your day.
Let me interject here. Like, the beginning of the game is very hard. I died a lot, and so more towards the beginning. They don't give you a lot. You don't get superpowers until much later, and even then, you get a little bit of superpowers at the beginning. It's like, it's not that good at the beginning. So if you're gonna try going out like guns blazing, just you have like there's like these different classes of guns that are like gray and then purple and all that other stuff. Like there's you got like gray ass guns, no superpowers. Like you're gonna be fucked if you try to go guns blazing.
I want all the problems.
See, now, I'm thinking with Citizen, this is I'm thinking of a Dark Souls thing where you invade the world and what if that person has cheats on? Like, what is the, what's the cheat engine in there, in the game? If it popped up. Because it usually, is it BattleEye? I don't know what Arkane uses, but I know there's going to be somebody cheating. That's why I'm with Chagalaga. I don't want people invading my world.
Yeah, I don't want people invading.
Yeah,
Because on PC it's going to be horrible.
There's three settings. There's 3 settings, so you can either have it completely disabled, friends only, or open to anyone to.
I don't even want my friends in there.
I don't even want my friends on there, especially Matt.
Fame.
He'll just come in and like fuck shit up just for the hell of it.
Matt is
y'all got to stop running from me. I'm gonna be in your game. First thing you're gonna hear is, "I'm surgical with this bitch, Jake." That's first thing.
Nope.
Oh, Fame is in my game. You know, I'm surgical with this bitch.
I'm gonna just turn it off.
They're gonna be like, nope, not today.
Not today.
No.
So as Juliana, you can, when you're invading people's lobbies, you can disguise yourself as an NPC within their world. So if you sort of like move around, act like you're a dumb NPC, then you can be like, gotcha, bitch.
Oh, so it's kind of like the Assassin's Creed 2 multiplayer, where you could hide and kill somebody in the crowds.
Yes.
Wow. Wait, so does the Bane player, do you have any advantages over Juliana? Because it seems like Juliana holds all the cards.
Right?
So if they know what they're doing, you're done.
As Colt, you have to be killed 3 times in order for it to stick. So
okay.
Once you're killed 3 times, do you lose like progress? Like, what are the consequences of that?
So if you lose, you just get reset to the beginning of the time loop. So as long as you've sealed your items and inventory, you'll just basically get relegated back. So at the beginning of the game, you lose all of your progress and inventory and everything like that. But there's a mechanic that's like written in the story where you can infuse guns into you. So like when you infuse guns and powers and abilities and little trinkets, you can then permanently keep it every time the loop resets. So if you die or if you start the day, all of your trinkets and guns and powers come with you, and you don't lose it.
For that system, is it just like a general max number of stuff you can infuse, or is it like a per slot thing? Like you can infuse one main weapon, one secondary weapon. How does it work exactly?
You can infuse as much as you want, as long as you can afford it. So there's like this. Okay. There's like basically aura everywhere in the game, and you just sort of have to put your hand out and absorb that aura, and then that aura just adds up.
I got you.
This game, from what I'm hearing, is this like a play on roguelikes?
Yeah.
No, not. Well, I mean, nothing about it is rogue though. Like it's all one map and it's the same. It's all pre-scripted. Everything. Enemy placements, all of it.
So it's very linear. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean the fact
the whole mechanics is
you dying and going back. And
that does seem kind of roll up.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. I didn't even think about that. But I'm going to tell you this right now, and I sort of hate myself for not being able to think about this. But IGN, I saw the review after my review went out. IGN gave it a review and compared it to a Metroidvania.
That's what I was gonna say. Well, I was gonna say Castlevania, but like Metroidvania. So
it's 3D. It's a 3D Metroidvania, so like 3D, like Metroid Prime. So like the map is like there's lots of like doors that are closed and you can't open them until later on, and so they reuse the map and you're like constantly like going to places that you've already been, but going to a new corridor that you couldn't access before. So.
I did have one question for you, as far as, because I know the end result or the end goal is to try and like assassinate all, was it 8 dudes in one day, or 8 people in one day? Mm-hmm. How long is an in-game day like translated into real time? Is there any kind of
as long as you want? So there's no ocarina of something else. There's no Majora's Mask clock where it's like you see the clock winding down and the moon is here and then you got to reset. No, like. There's 4 times of the day. There's morning, noon, afternoon, and night. And when you load into a level, like let's say I go into this base and it's morning. As long as I'm in that base, it's always morning. Until I leave, then it becomes noon.
So moving to a different zone progresses the day.
Yeah. And so stay in that zone as long as you want, do what you need to do, and then when you're ready to dip, you dip, and it goes to the next time of the day. And at night, when you're finished and you leave the zone, then it goes to morning, and it loop
Okay.
resets.
It keeps
I gotcha.
resetting. Okay.
Okay.
Now, Dallas is among us that we're not Chocolaco. We can't crunch out a game in 25 hours. What do you think of this game, D? There's a lot.
Oh man.
To it.
I'm glad that I didn't have to review it. Let's just say that. 'Cause it would definitely be a month late. But I'm gonna let you know, even though I haven't really been a super big fan of arcane games, I understand why like some of them have a cult following. Like I understand why people love Dishonored the way they do. And I got excited to see Deathloop because it seems as if it's something that's a little more up my alley, you know? Like Dishonored wise, I'll mess with the lore. I'm down. But for whatever reason, I always like I can never get into the games. Every so often I try them again, I never get into them, right? Deathloop does not seem like I'm gonna have that same problem. That being said, and whenever the gaming guys decide to bless me with an opportunity to buy PlayStation 5, or whenever, you know, I don't know, 2025 when I'm able to walk into a store and grab one.
No, you're a PC gamer. You can't walk.
Hey, looks like we won't need to. All the games are coming to us, baby.
Whoa. You're going to get us in
But
trouble.
2025, Dallas is getting his
Oh,
PS5.
you know. When I can upgrade my PC, also in 2025, either way.
That's true. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Whichever one of these things happen first, it's definitely like one that's getting added to the backlog that I'll play and maybe not beat. But 25 hours, I don't know. I probably will run through it. And thus far, it sounds exciting enough, or it seems dope enough, or rather, I'm intrigued enough for that to be one that I see through.
You know what's crazy, D? You're likely going to be able to play this game on Xbox Game Pass before you're able to easily buy a PS5.
Easy.
Yeah,
Right, you are.
I bet. You take day one Game Pass next year? You think?
Yeah, it's day one Game Pass. As soon as the year is up, because of obviously Arkane is an Xbox studio, it's day one Game Pass.
I mean,
so
I agree with
we're
that.
gonna be able to play this game on Game Pass before we're able to. Because I'm tired of trying to fight bots to get a PS5. I'm over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like
hear,
it's not worth the stress anymore.
No.
Can y'all hear my dog scratching and whining at the door?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No.
good. Cool.
And
No.
before we move on to the next topic, I also, again, want to give Chocolate a shout out extra because 25 hours to roll credits. The Chernobyl review I did, I had 30 hours in, and I barely got to the end before I had to write the end. So 25 hours to do that and a video, Chocolate, you are an exceptional
What's up?
reviewer. You are an exceptional human being, and you have so much dirt on fame that I can't wait to hear in person. And I love you, Chocolate. Thank you so much.
You
for
know what?
that.
You know what's crazy about that review? Chocolate wrote it. I did the edit for it, and we talked the night before, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna go ahead and get up like 5:00 in the morning because I need to get it edited and get it scheduled before 7:01 our time to meet the embargo." Like I woke up and like I saw his text, but I figured that was the text. Like I'm done, so I go to the computer. And I'm just like time to start editing, and then I'm doing. So all of a sudden it says you've been kicked out, and I'm like, "What? Who kicked me out of this review?"
The man was not done.
He wasn't done. He wasn't done. So literally, it was up. He was up until like somewhere around 6 a.m. Remind you, the embargo was up at 7. So as soon as he was done, I did the last couple of edits and got it scaled. I mean, we made it right on time, and it was again
That's what's
chocolate.
up.
Hats off to you, brother. I really appreciate you taking on this task. You are one of the few people in this circle with a PS5 anyway, so it was yours no matter what. I refuse to pay $800.
Yeah.
I refuse to pay $1,000 for a PS5.
There it is.
That's not happening. See,
And-
Dang,
Yeah.
the rare mythical beast.
It's
there's this $900 PS5. Like I refuse.
Shout out to Bethesda because Bethesda's been sweet on us lately. So thank you, Bethesda, for being awesome. And yeah, if you want to slide a little
They
cash
have
our
been
way for
sweet on
that,
us.
Whoa.
Hey.
they have been sweet on us because we got the ESO, Elder Scrolls, and not only did we get ESO, we got the collector's edition that had everything in it. We got Deathloop, and
didn't know that.
we're on the list for a couple other things that we may or may not get soon. Hopefully, Bethesda. Pete Hines.
He's like, "Are you listening?"
Look at you, Microsoft Shields. Look at you.
I'm
Next thing
already
you're
on
gonna
the
be talking about how
PlayStation
much you
hater
love
list.
Game Pass.
I do love Game Pass, but I'm already on the PlayStation hater list. Even though I grew up playing PlayStation, I only had PC for the last 6 years. I've never owned an
I'm a
Xbox
PC
either.
gamer too.
We
I don't have an
cannot-
Xbox.
But you know what? I guarantee you, nobody that uses the word shield unironically can beat you up. So
That's true. That's true, baby. Sun's out,
the
guns
thing
out.
about it is, the thing about this
Why-
is literally
why your
cannot
wig
be
move?
shills.
What you trying
Wig?
to get into?
Yeah,
We
I got my
cannot
edges
be
back.
shills until we're getting paid.
That's
and
true.
at that point in time, I will gladly accept that label and I will flaunt it in your face along with all the money that we're making. So,
But wouldn't
I'm
that
okay
just
with
make you an employee or a contractor? Or don't they already have words for those?
Freelancer.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
I was ready to be a whole ass shill for some Cyberpunk for a yellow chair, but now I'm like, ooh, I'm glad I didn't take that money.
Listen,
Man,
listen.
Oh,
Don't you know?
man.
Listen, I wish I had the yellow chair. You know how much I rock it every day. And
chill,
And-
yep,
chill.
yep. They
And
sent
what?
me one.
Real.
What's
You know
up?
what? I bet,
And then
I bet
after
all
that, it was-
those
I was
chairs,
lying to you, I
I bet
was
all
thirsty.
those chairs arrive incomplete, missing pieces. You'll never see
Wow.
I bet one armrest is gone.
Wow.
It's missing a wheel. It's
Every
those
year,
things-
they'll
and
send you
they're
a
Oh
couple.
my
we'll send
God.
you the remaining pieces
y'all.
in future
The
packages. Just hang in there for 6 months.
shade.
I mean, the pieces were there, but they were all subpar. None of them really worked the way they said
Right.
that they would,
Right.
and they
We'll
just was
upgrade
And if
the
you were-
pieces.
If
Yeah.
you were an
over the
older
next year.
person, then it didn't really work for you. But if you were younger, it worked all the way. I can't believe they sold it. Anyway, Cyberpunk, we're gonna rip into you forever.
Listen, all I know is
Thank you.
I got Cyberpunk and a second steelbook case for $10. So I'm ready for the patch, and then I'll play it.
Fame sent me a whole ass Cyberpunk steel book. I don't have I got the digital PC edition, so there's no disc to put in here, but
That's
I
a
got
pretty
it.
steel book.
it's a good
It is a pretty good book. So, but listen, we're gonna move on to this this latest Nvidia leak. I talked about part of it in a recent video I did, mainly focusing on the Sony side. But there were some games in here I definitely want to talk about. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, me and Des, and our love for Final Fantasy. So I want to go down this list. I'm gonna try to go as fast as I can back this week. Now, I don't have the PlayStation list here, but I will grab it. So some of the stuff that we're seeing here is a Chrono Cross remaster, Final Fantasy Tactics remaster, Final Fantasy 9 remake, but they're saying that's possibly reference to the recent remaster, which would piss me off because I want a remake, okay? Tomb Raider Anniversary, Kingdom Hearts IV. So what is that?
4.
4. There you go. Capcom Resident Evil 4 remake, Street Fighter 6, Dragon Dogma 2, Monster Hunter 6, GTA 3, Vice City San Andreas remaster, which we already knew about. BioShock RTX remaster, BioShock 2020, Mirror's Edge remaster, Respawn, an Untitled Respawn game, Titanfall 3, Tekken 8, Human Fall Flat 2, The Talos Principle 2, Crisis 4, Earth Defense 6, Bayonetta 3, which doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
I'm sorry.
It's been 4
It
years.
doesn't.
Yeah, that's definitely a myth. It's
It doesn't exist. Batman Arkham Knight remastered, Half-Life 2 remastered, and Paradox has a project FPS. And then I'm trying to get. I had another list pulled up with the
can you drop
PlayStation and
this?
Xbox games.
Can you drop that list in the chat? Because I'm not gonna remember that shit.
Just Google it, man. Because there's
Yeah,
separate list for everything.
Yeah, literally just type. I'm gonna drop you this link, but literally you
And
can.
while Fame is
Google
doing
and
that,
Google
welcome to Pew 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 Pew. Sus Gang. Alex is in the house. He's
Sus
asking
Gang.
Future
Yeah.
Gang. What's up, Alice? Alex, not Alice. Sorry, I was thinking about if you were a woman. That's a private chat. What's up, Alex?
Wow.
Bayonetta 3 is Project Eve. It is Project Eve. Oh shit.
That's called Bayonetta Automata.
I will say when I saw that at the showcase, I was like, that does seem very Bayonetta-y to me.
Right.
Somebody should just they should have just renamed it Slayonetta or something like that.
Okay.
You know?
So for PlayStation,
Slay.
there was Uncharted Legacy of Thieves, which was announced at the PlayStation Showcase, so we know for a fact that that's real. Helldivers 2, okay. Horizon Forbidden West, the unreleased Horizon Forbidden West.
We've been
We
there.
already know Horizon Zero Dawn is already on PC. GT7, God of War. This is not Ragnarok, but the 2018 God of War, which, by the way, at some point people give me my flowers because, a certain Corey Barlog and I had a little tit for tat back and forth, and I already told y'all he was trying to get God of War to PC, but you're welcome. Demon Souls, which if you guys remember when Demon Souls were first shown, it had a coming to PC as well, and then the next time they showed it, it was gone. That wasn't a mistake. And we knew it wasn't a mistake, but Sony lied and said that was a mistake, and it was. You don't accidentally type NPC, right? If it's not coming to PC. Ratchet and Clank, I'm assuming this isn't the recent one, which will be interesting because if the most recent one does come to PC, wouldn't it kind of dilute this game can't run without the PS5's SSD?
But you know what's funny? All this shit is already on PC illegally, but it's already on PC and running.
Yeah, well, legally now. The last one is Ghost of Tsushima. And then, of course, there was some Xbox stuff, but I don't really want to go by the Xbox stuff because there's no point, because we all know if it's coming on Xbox, it's coming on PC. So, with that being said, I do want to get your thoughts. I do want to start with our guest again, Miss Des. Your thoughts on this Nvidia leak, mainly pertaining to what we're seeing from the Sony camp, and I will drop that article in there as well for you.
I don't know. Like, I know some people are like really excited. I feel like I'm the wrong person to ask because I don't care a lot about AAA games. Like, I'm much more of an indie gamer in general, just because I think they're doing things that like AAA games are afraid to do. So for me, that list is like, Also, I don't have a PlayStation, so I have like a PlayStation 3, which I use for Netflix only. So
you must be PC game. I'm
old
guessing.
lady. I've only ever seen old women do that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty old.
But old. I can dig
call somebody.
Right? Like, damn. But no.
I mean, it's okay if you're not literally an old lady. So
I mean, spiritually, like
spiritually, I'm about 45, so we'll just put that out there. Spiritually.
Wait, in real life?
But
I was about to say no.
I'm gonna say if you I can't wait to be 45 then.
No, I mean I'm in my late 30s though. But no, just because I played all the games I wanted to play on PS3, so I just use it for Netflix now. But when I can get a PS5, then I'll probably play more PS games. But because my work has always dealt with PCs, I went ahead and bought a gaming laptop. So I'm just really a PC person because I use it for work and I use it for gaming.
So being primarily a PC gamer, I'm sure it's kind of a relief that these games that you weren't actually able to play because you didn't own a PlayStation at the time, that you can now go back and play, like God of War 2018, which for a lot of people it was the game of last generation. So that has to be great as a PC owner who doesn't have a PlayStation to say, hey, my patience is paying off because these games apparently from the leak are all coming to PC.
I'm glad they're coming to PC. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be coming to PC, honestly. Like, PCs can handle just as many games as like a PS5. Like, if you build it to your specs, it can handle it. So I don't see why they're not promoting more games like that. But I am glad that older games are coming to the PC so I can play them. Yeah.
Citizen Snips as my other, you do have a PlayStation, but I know you are primarily gaming on PC. Not only just the PlayStation stuff, but your thoughts on what we're seeing as far as some of these remasters being leaked.
So, I mean, the thing for me, and it's one of those deals where I feel like Nvidia's trying to like semi-cover their buns, because the true wording that they came out with when they confirmed it was, yes, the list is real, but this list contains speculative titles. So titles that aren't necessarily confirmed coming to PC. But what I think about it is, because there are a lot of titles in that list that include like future projects or projects that are supposedly in the works, that's the speculative part. I think any game that's released, I feel like you wouldn't put it inside the programming if you weren't at least having an inclination that it was coming to PC. So I feel fairly good about it. The timetable is one thing to consider. I don't know how many months, days, years it'll take for some of these titles to eventually make it. But you guys know me, I've always been on the bandwagon that games coming to more platforms is never a bad thing. Until it gets to the point where, hey, this game is no longer going to be on PC. We're completely removing it from PlayStation to put it on PC. Then there's a reason for outrage and people being upset. But if you can still play it on your PlayStation, and now more people can play it on a different platform, I do not see the downside of that. You could spend the rest of your life trying to convince me, and I'm just gonna be like, nah. So
see, one thing that makes me sad, Snips, is the fact that some of these games that we listed, as far as the Final Fantasy IX remake, that may be pointing to the last Final Fantasy IX remaster, and that's why some of these things on here, I kind of look at with the side eye. I'm not sure, especially with the Xbox side of it, because the community manager, I think he's the community manager at Halo Infinite, already came out and said, because Halo 5 was on the list to come into PC, and he was like, no, Halo 5 is not coming to PC. That leak referred to Halo 5 Forge, which is on PC. So they kind of...
They have to cover their asses. Everybody does.
Yeah, like my question about it is, when the entire rest of the Master Chief collection is on PC and Infinite's coming to PC, why would 5 never come to PC?
I mean, there's Gears 1, 4, and 5 and Tactics on PC, so
it's just weird to me. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to like make any bets on anything. I'm excited at the prospect of these games coming. One of my friends, I haven't seen it in any of the articles I've covered because I think it was in one of the full lists. That is like an insane number of games. But one of my friends told me that they heard Dragon Quest X, which was an MMO released only in the East as part of the Dragon Quest series. They have an offline mode for it that they released, I think it was early this year, I think like May or something like that. That was on the list as coming for a Western release as well, so I'm excited about the prospect of that because that would be really dope. I like the Dragon Quest games, so it's for me. It's, hey, this would be really cool if it happens. If it doesn't, shucks, I'll get over it. I'll go play the game wherever I can play it. But I think it's cool, and yes, and I want to see more games going cross-platform as much as possible. It makes me happy. I like knowing that I have options of where to play things.
At this point, there was no promises made, but me and what's trying to get into Square Enix. I need that Final Fantasy IX remake. Like, what you trying to get into? At this point,
you know what?
At this point, it's already promised to me. The leak already promised it to me. So, what you trying to get into, Square Enix? Because I need that.
You know why?
Like, Final Fantasy IX is the best Final Fantasy game, in my opinion.
Because
Square
Final
Enix
Fantasy
won't have to square up.
Yeah, you know why I say it could happen? Because Final Fantasy VIII is coming back out as I think it's a remaster or whatever they're working on with Final Fantasy VIII, because they said they lost the source code for it. It was gone, and all of a sudden, I think it was at this E3, it came back out, and I was like, oh,
give me Triple Triad in 4K. I want it.
I think
I feel like Final Fantasy 7 and 8. I feel like Final Fantasy 9 is the baby of Final Fantasy 7 and 8. Because I just feel like they pulled so many things from both of those games and then created Final Fantasy 9. So I would be down to play a remake and see. I'm just a little nervous about like how much they're gonna change about it. Like the remake for 7 has blown me away. So I think they've done it justice. So I hope that I hope with 9 they kind of do the same thing. Like I hope they don't change too much from the original when they do the remake, which I don't think they will.
No,
but.
Because it's such a tight story.
The only thing I would hope they change with 8 is the level scaling. In 8, enemies scale with your level, so there's no point in like grinding. You're trying to like max it up because you just make the rest of the game harder on yourself. And I hate that because I'm the kind of dude who will spend 5 hours in the first zone you put me in beating up level 1 toads to get to level 20 because I know when I get to that first boss fight, I'm gonna wreck that fool and I'm gonna feel great.
All right, I have a really quick question. Sorry, this is like random. But when you guys played, did everybody play 8?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm replaying it now actually on Game Pass.
Nice. Okay, so when I first played it, because I had played 7, like, in 7, the Guardian Forces just come to you as you're going through the game. But in 8, you have to actually go out of your way to find them. And I got all the way to like the 4th disc with only like 6 Guardian Forces. Did anybody else do that, or did you know ahead of time that you had to go out of your way and find all of them? Because I did not know.
Well, in like all the other previous Final Fantasies, it was they all kind of came to you, or you found them naturally.
You found them naturally in the progression of the game.
You got to go out of your... I would never play Final Fantasy 8
was
without
one of
a
the first ones to tuck a lot of them away.
I had to buy a walkthrough. I had to buy one of those thick-ass catalog books because I was like, damn. I played it through twice like that and did not realize that that's what you were supposed to be doing. And I was just like, 8 fucked me up. I never like beat it.
What were you saying, Dallas?
It barely ever crosses my mind because I'm naturally an explorer in games. I have to look at everything. I have to read every piece of every data pad, listen to every like audio log. I need to like I'm one of those people that has to be like fully immersed in the game.
He's a lore whore.
But
Absolutely.
even sometimes with lore, you can it can't be a podcast
You
unless
can
I
miss
mention
stuff
this.
in.
Anthem. You can miss so much of the lore if you don't explore the world.
You have
But
to.
it's always in a weird nook that you've like I've flown past this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely like that with Anthem. And it's like that with a bunch of stuff. You have to find like a secret way into an office somewhere that you never actually even needed to go into. I'm one of those people that if I had played Arkham City enough, I would have found that wall that all the Arkham Knight information was behind. Like if I was like if at that time I did more than one playthrough of that game, I would have found it. Because I'm one of those people that like I have to explore. And mentioning Batman, that's one of the only games that I didn't go all the way out of my way to find every single thing because I just didn't have the patience for the Riddler trophies.
You know
in
what's
Arkham
funny?
Knight.
I found every single Riddler trophy in all the games. I couldn't help
Nice.
myself. I won't do that in any other game though.
Yeah, you got time.
I'm not a completionist.
Neither
I'm
am
just-
I. But the
I'm
Riddler
just there for
trophies,
the
because
story.
Edward Nigma in the games is so annoying that I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Shut 'em up. Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna beat
It was
your
out of
ass.
spite. Yeah, it was out of
Out of
spite.
spite.
I'm
It's like,
finding all these trophies just to mess you up.
I can
And
do
like,
the bare minimum.
For me, it's more literally about just being in the world and finding everything I could possibly find about the world. So if it's
Dallas,
something to read, I want to read it. All the
I'm
other Scrolls
surprised you're
games,
not-
I read the books.
I'm surprised you're
wow.
not hooked on Destiny, man, with how much you love lore. Because
Ooh.
Destiny 2 will feed you lore.
I was for a while.
For the end of time.
As Fame. I was for a while.
Lawless
up until-
game.
There's so
lot of
much
games-
lore in Destiny 2 now that I think even you would be overwhelmed, especially with the
a lot.
the Night Queen coming out or the Night Witch. It's like
Mm.
there's so much lore that it's
Listen,
overwhelming.
somebody gonna say something that's on a level of being a hater. But my favorite part about Destiny 2 was the PvP back when I played it. Lawless
Man.
gang was in there.
Oh.
Dallas
If you
I
know-
got down.
You wouldn't
I
like
got
it
down.
now.
Hey, Fame, don't you? I know y'all know you, Kev. Y'all are the reason that I even got into multiplayer games like that. Like there's very few multiplayer games that I played like that until y'all, and now I try everything.
I missed the good old
got
days,
it.
man. Me and Kev getting in there and just like wrecking lobbies like the good old days. I'm
Why
afraid to
don't you
go in there
play it
now.
on Game Pass
Oh, you
and,
don't
and
want-
leave the
it's scary.
PC option on?
Oh, I ain't
It's scary
tripping.
now.
Ain't nobody scared of nobody unless I'm playing on PC. Then I'll be worried because I don't know what I'm doing. If I'm on a console, I ain't worried about nobody no PC. It's
No,
lawless
'cause
game.
even
man.
you won't
I'll
even
see
know what you're
I mean, on
doing.
PC.
Now.
The trick to going against console players in Destiny especially is verticality. It's so much harder for console players to aim up and down than it is side to side. If you
Fame
jump up,
was playing before there
just
was
frustrate the heck out of 'em.
the max cap and light levels, so Fame don't even know that stuff anymore.
Now
Hey.
D2 PvP
Skill is-
now at the
skill
highest
is
level
still
is
skill.
terrifying. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I watched. If
You
you
got
guys,
these skills.
we'll get back to the Nvidia list in a second. The world record for, if you guys know, Destiny 2 raids can take anywhere from 4 hours to like 8 hours, and there's a world record on Leviathan. I think it's like 2 hours, and the max. What people usually beat it in is 6 hours. I'm like,
I couldn't do it.
The ones that get me are the first clears. Because those can take like, I've known people that 20 hours to do a first clear because there's no guide for anything yet. You have to figure out everything while you're inside the raid, so you're constantly just wiping and resetting and like, oh, this
mhm.
didn't work. What if we shoot this symbol this time?
And if somebody
Like,
leaves, then then oof.
oh yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
Hey, really quick, 'cause we got one more topic to do before our suggestions. Burnoutbrighter, thanks for coming through and rocking with us.
What's up, man?
We appreciate you coming through. Snips, you have been found by Phantom. He says, hello,
I know.
Crab. So this is where you are on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, he's here
Every Wednesday.
shedding
you,
his
you
shell.
come through and you don't mention how handsome he is, Phantom.
Mm.
Yeah,
Those
man.
glasses
You
are
gotta
so much
know when
nicer.
you come in here. One thing you gotta do is admit that Snips is the most handsome V for Vendetta mask I ever seen.
You know what I'm gonna start doing going forward? We're gonna get a copyright for it, but I'm gonna start playing that Shawn Michaels. I think I'm cute. I know I'm
know I'm
sexy.
sexy.
I'm gonna play that every time we have to do
Look,
slips going
yeah.
forward. and the drive to go
I
away.
can't.
I'm just a sexy boy.
And that just secured the Dez is never coming back.
No.
I can't deal with y'all, man. It's too much.
Man, I'm a basic bitch because the sound effect that I would have came up with is I'm sexy and I know it.
You are basic.
Oh yeah, like the sound mic is better. But listen, last thing before we get to our suggestions, and I'm gonna go to you, Chakalaka, because between when you're not doing reviews, you're typically writing Nintendo stuff on level1gaming.com, lv1gaming.com. So it seems as if someone at Nintendo finally realized that Bluetooth exists, and also they realized that Bluetooth was already capable, and decided now is the time to utilize Bluetooth, but only audio, not mic.
Right.
You alone have to hold the burden of defending Nintendo and why all of a sudden Bluetooth is now on the Switch.
Come on.
Okay, so real talk, I can't. I'm trying. Let me tell you that.
So the first episode of Cogs is gonna be a Nintendo show, and watch Chakalaka go.
All right. So it is my understanding that, and I haven't tested it out because I'm busy, but it is my understanding that the audio quality when you use it directly through the Nintendo Switch is compressed. So it's a slight loss of quality, and on top of that, there's a minuscule delay that happens. Not like the delay like this, like the terrible. But no, it's just like you have to where you have to, if you press the button and you hear like a sound effect not happening immediately, like that kind of sound effect kind of thing. So with that being said, I think that it's a situation where if Nintendo had put it out day one, I think it would have made the Switch review worse because it would have been lacking. It would have been, it's pretty sus. Like for instance, and this is not that it matters because when you use the Bluetooth audio on the Switch, you're limited to only 2 controllers, which is basically like the Joy-Cons, the left and right. You can't have multiple Joy-Cons with audio like on your AirPods or whatever going on because it's competing for that antenna space,
that signal,
so to speak. Yeah. So not that it matters because if you're going to be doing Bluetooth audio, it's probably going to be single player. You're not going to be like, putting on multiple controllers anyways. But that being said, I think this feature, from what it sounds like, is a little half-baked. It's a problem that's been solved with third-party accessories, with like I think the Genki dock adapter thingy, where you can just plug it in and make it work. But that's all I got for you guys.
That's the problem though, because like it's literally already built in. If you had spent like another month, another couple of days on it, it would have been perfect. Not that I know. I mean, I'm not a engineer, but y'all got me in trouble so many times. You know what I mean? Not y'all, like Nintendo. Y'all got me in trouble so many times because I like playing games at night, all nestled up in the bed, right?
Butt naked.
And my girl's knocked out, snoring and farting, and I'm just like, I'm just sitting there blowing shit up. You know what I mean?
Trying to be quiet, like.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's all good till I get into combat. And no matter what the game is, it's all good until I get into combat. And y'all got me getting in trouble. And so I go and, I decide, maybe if I play my Switch with some headphones on, it'll be all good. And now I got to ride around. Hold on, where they at? Check this out.
Long ass cable.
Big, beautiful bastards. And the cable to this, like you said, is long as hell. So I could get into my room and realize I can't plug it in because the other end is in my office. So and this is the most uncomfortable thing to be doing in the bed. Dang, I didn't realize how it sounded.
I was about to say there's a couple other things.
I didn't realize how it sounded before I said it. But
Alex isn't on, so we can't talk about those uncomfortable things, Dallas. So keep going.
Man. So it's crazy when HR is doing it with you.
Get us in trouble.
But yeah, long story short, literally it could have been implemented before. How long has the Switch been out? How many of these little bastards have you sold by now? Like, you mean to tell me it's just now hitting you that maybe it's a good idea to have Bluetooth support for anything other than your controller?
They even released another Switch. You would think that they would have approved upon the issues.
Like
The Pro
God,
is on
God
the way.
forbid you add another actual feature to your re-released console that all you did was make the screen a little bit brighter.
Imagine
think it's
buying that
time-
other Switch.
You know,
I
what's
think it's
in
time
there?
to admit. It's time to admit that if
Nintendo
not
doesn't
for
deserve
Pokemon,
the beautiful
it
stuff
does-
they get.
It doesn't deserve the
If it's not going to make them a lot of money, they don't care. If people
No.
aren't like mad complaining about it, they're not gonna. They don't
They're
care.
the-
Nintendo does
they're
not
the only
care.
one- They're the only ones to do that, because if you complain about anything that PlayStation or Xbox, it gets changed.
Yeah.
Almost immediately. Nintendo was like, nah, how about this? Here's a slightly bigger Switch. Go buy this, dummy.
We need to get over the fact that
They're like
Nintendo.
gods over in Japan. They're like
Yeah.
gods over in Japan. Like they don't have to
Yeah,
do shit.
that's
And
true.
they also don't really care about the people outside of Japan, which is crazy to me. But like they don't care.
They
They
That
don't
sounds
care.
very Japanese.
Let
we
me
need to get
let me
over the
just
fact
Y'all
that
get
they
in
saved the
where y'all fit
gaming
in.
industry in 1984. We need to go. That was before I was born, so we need to get over that fact and be like, Nintendo, we're holding you to
Time
a
to
higher
step it up.
standard.
let me just put out a conspiracy theory on this one.
Oh,
all right.
Hold on.
Let's just say
I don't have a tinfoil
let's
hat.
just say let's just say the reason why Nintendo didn't put out like a Bluetooth compatibility on the Switch is because Nintendo hasn't made, and they're not going to sell yet until just maybe in a week or so when they announce it, official Bluetooth Nintendo
Yep.
branded headphones.
Oh
And then
yeah.
they can make an
you're
Animal
right.
Crossing edition, and then they can make a Legend of Zelda edition,
Pokemon
and then they can make a
edition.
Mario
Pokemon
edition, and a
I
Pokemon
can't even
edition.
say anything. I have 2 Switches, and I
Oh
bought
my
the
God.
second one.
Can you send one
I
my
bought the-
way?
I bought the second one because I really wanted the Animal Crossing design, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll get rid of the other one," but the other one has my saved game on it, and it was
Oh.
before you could do all that.
Because
So
I'm like, that shit is still like $500 here in Canada.
just-
it's in a box. I haven't even opened it. It's that.
Oh, you
my
serious?
ovaries.
I'm serious because I have the other one. So
I'm
but
coming.
then I
just-
Damn.
I'm
You know what's
impressed.
You guys
funny?
are
I
you
could
guys are
fly
bitching at
down.
me like I got money, but whatever. You know?
No, it was funny. Is in the middle of
I
Roma.
don't have a PS5 though.
In the middle,
Yeah.
he has a PS5 and Xbox, so he can't even
Dang.
talk. And we can see his CRT TV playing Smash. in the
Right
background,
over
so-
there.
Chocolate,
I do
can
wanna
come
add-
You
over?
got enough money to buy old Nintendo games, which cost more than new games.
True.
So
Actually, on the most recent episode of Ready Press Games, Chocolaga and Dan went into that. There's a false inflation because somebody, wanted to be that bitch, and yeah. But you know what's funny?
yeah,
I could
it's
fly
the
down
Disney
to
Vault
Tennessee
strategy.
right now in the middle of the Panasonic, get that, and come back for cheaper than it would cost to buy it here in Canada.
That's ridiculous.
Damn.
It is.
To fly
That's
across
ridiculous.
Canada to Toronto, which is or Ontario, where Matt is one way is $2,000.
What?
To fly
I'm
across
good.
Canada is not cheap.
Canada's cool and all. Y'all got free
Wow.
healthcare.
No,
but I ain't
we don't.
paying all the money I pay for consoles.
Healthcare is not free.
They balanced it out.
Y'all don't got free healthcare?
It's free
Nothing's
to a
free.
point. Ambulance rides
Yeah.
are not free.
Oh,
Dental is not free. If you require major surgery, it's not free. Yeah,
And there's a waiting list.
there is a waiting list, and some of the stuff is starting to go privatized too, like y'all.
and
And the taxes.
But
Yeah.
once you move
Money.
somewhere, you're guaranteed to be left alone because either A, you got guns, or B, you got a lot of land and nobody's gonna bother you.
Oh, that sounds
Damn,
like
sounds
Texas.
like America.
That sounds like Texas. Lots of land and lots of guns. Listen,
That's-
you guys know what time it is. At the end of the show, we like to give suggestions for you to watch and or play for this week. Per usual, I'm starting with my homie Dallas. Dallas, what do you suggest for the people
Oh,
to
man.
watch and or play
oh
for
man.
this week?
You know I'm never prepared for this.
Write
So,
it down.
just before we started, I mean, I usually just talk about whatever I'm on right then, but that would just cause me to talk about the same thing every week. So, let's talk about the same thing every week. So, I think y'all need to go watch, absolutely watch. You know how I am about this Marvel stuff. What if, this week's episode was, what if Eric Killmonger had saved, Tony Stark? It played out exactly as I predicted, like down to the T, which is crazy.
And
I
that's
think I'm
tonight.
getting a lot better at predicting stories. I've been learning a lot about storytelling and stuff, and I feel like it's ruining every show I ever watch for me.
hmm
Oh, wow.
So but it's still worth watching. It's how it goes with Marvel stuff. Also, last week I talked about Hunter x Hunter. I made very little progress. I'm still in the arc with the Chimera Ants. Why? Because
I
the
mean, that
next
is
thing,
like the last major arc.
okay.
So,
Well, cool, because I'm about
but
at the end.
but
of
the
it.
ending for it, oh,
Oh yeah.
oh,
Oh
oh.
man.
Just wait. Has the chairman arrived on the Ant Island yet?
Yep.
Okay, when his last battle, that
Ooh.
it's
I
so
I
good.
know he got something. I already know he got something. Right now, they in the middle of like implementing that plan to weed everybody out. So they are finally catching on. Like the Chimera ants are finally catching on to
Yeah.
how you actually use Nin and how and like what's
Okay.
actually happening to them and how they're disappearing. So that's where I'm at.
And the chairman gets this whole like backstory that's like super kung fu master, like, oh, it's so fantastic, dude. I love it. I love every minute of it. I'm about to rewatch that show again now.
So this little conversation right here should show you how good Hunter x Hunter actually is, right? Beginning to end so far. The beginning is good and it's like it's captivating, but I see what everybody was talking about. It just gets better and better and better as it goes on, right? Next up, I'll tell you why I haven't finished Hunter x Hunter yet. Because and this is a funny story that I already told the homies, but we're on the podcast, so whatever, I'm gonna tell y'all too. So y'all know I've been telling y'all I got more into Star Wars or whatever. I just fell down the rabbit hole. I was watching, Clone Wars, all the expanded universe stuff from Legends to what's now the canon. Because canon is kind of limited now, but all of the stuff, right? Everything. And so I had been thinking, maybe I should check out KOTOR. I haven't played it since I was like 12, 13 or whatever, however old I was at that time. And I only remember so much of it, and the stuff that I do remember from it was jokes that me and my brothers still tell each other, right? So I ended up buying the game on the Xbox store, and I didn't touch it. I said I would play it the next day. Next day was the PlayStation showcase, and what do I see? KOTOR remake. I guess I'm on the right path. So I started playing the game, and I swear it's gonna end here. Started playing the game, and yes, it still looks like 2003. Let's just get that out the way. Yes, it still plays like 2003. Let's just get that out the way. But somehow, by some
It's still good.
force of nature, I am in love with it. I don't know what happened. The story, I don't know if it's just that I love being immersed in a world and this does that for me. This really is what made BioWare in my eyes. This is what made me care about them. And then Dragon Age came out and I didn't care, and then Mass Effect came out and I cared again. I cannot wait for the remake because I absolutely have to finish this game and not play anything else until I'm done. And I am going to do the same thing with the second. So yeah, that's it for me. Go play KOTOR. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what kind of games you like. If you're an RPG head like me, if you're a lore nut like me, go play KOTOR. You owe it to yourself.
Citizen Snips.
I'm gonna be pretty short for you guys here. Go watch What If. Like Dallas said, it's good. We're a week away from Star Wars Visions, which is the Star Wars meets anime phenomenal thing. So I'm gonna remind y'all about that next Wednesday because that's gonna be amazing. Everything I've heard about it looks dope. A new anime I started watching, recommendation of a friend of mine, is called The Idatan Deities Know Only Peace. Brief synopsis of what it's about so far. Basically, 800 or 900 years ago, the Earth was being ravaged by giant demons that were destroying everything. People got together, because they had stopped believing in gods for a while. So demons came up, started wrecking everything. They start praying again, and these deities arrive that are specialized in combat. They kick the crap out of all the demons. They save humanity, and then they have to they sacrifice themselves to seal the gap between the demons' world and Earth and whatnot. And so this show is about the 800 or 900 years later when the descendants of those deities are around, and they've kind of gotten lazy and gotten lax and gotten used to nothing being happening, and the demons kind of start coming back. So it's a pretty neat execution in how they express the powers of the deities themselves. So that's kind of cool. I will say a bit of a graphic warning for the end of the first episode. The last couple, it's only 20 or 30 seconds or so. It is a very uncomfortable scene that deals with some, how can I say this politely?
Don't say
There's
it.
some interaction between soldiers and a female that is not consensual.
Understood.
So be wary of that. Be warned of that. It's not a huge focus of the show. Honestly, watching the episode, I was like, why did you decide to depict this in this way? Because I feel like we could have just not done this. But aside from that, the rest of the show, very bright, vibrant, artsy style. It looks really neat, looks really cool, and it's kind of a unique story. So I would go check that out. And I believe that's on Funimation, or is it Crunchyroll? I think it's Crunchyroll, actually. So check that one out. And that's all I got.
All right. Chakalaka.
All right. Hey, so first off, let me just preface by saying you guys should definitely check out my movie podcast. I do a lot of analysis and a lot of deep dives into topics. I did a deep dive about like streaming services and if like studios should own them, and a history lesson on like the Paramount decrees this week. I think it was one of our best episodes. We talked about some controversy with the Disney CEO. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. Check out RPM. It's a really good, insightful podcast. I like to, much like if you guys are watch my or read my reviews when it comes to anything I review when it comes to games. You know, I like to do like a deep dive analysis on some stuff and like give you guys some good commentary. So that's what I'm about. But that being said, my recommendations, they're pretty straightforward. I got 2 recommendations per category. So number 1 for games, Deathloop. Obviously, my recommendation is 100%.
We knew that was coming.
Yeah. Go check his review. If you haven't already.
And also, yes. And then, because I recommended it last time, I got to recommend it again because there is no Fortnite representation in this panel. So I'll be that guy that champions Fortnite. The new season just launched this past Sunday. And so if you're going to get into Fortnite, this is a good time to get in. The battle pass and everything, it's all, you can take advantage of all the skins. They got Carnage as the skin for this season. When you get to level 100, you get Carnage if you have the battle pass. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be more integrations coming up that they're not telling us about. They usually withhold those things. So I'm expecting some good skins. There was some dope-ass skins last season that I got from like Guile and Cammy and Ryu and Chun-Li and all these other skins that you can just name off.
Did you get the Ariana skin?
Yes, I did. I did get Ariana Grande.
I love you, Chakalaka.
I have to have it. My vanity knows no bounds. So there's that. Okay, that's games. Movies. I like to be in the chat when I was on the chat in this very podcast. I always like to recommend the movies that are coming out in theaters this Friday, and so I'll go ahead and recommend the two big movies that are coming out this Friday are Oscar bait movies. They're Oscar contenders. A little bit outside of our normal lane that we like to recommend nerdy stuff, but you know, it is what it is. This week's movies is Cry Macho, which is the Clint Eastwood movie where he's talking. It's like a bit of a deconstruction of manhood and what it is to be a macho guy. It looks pretty interesting. And then there's The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which is a Jessica Chastain, Andrew Garfield movie, and it looks dope as fuck. I don't know if you know what it's about, but it's like her Jessica Chastain's character opens up a church, and there's some fraud and corruption going on, and yeah, it looks interesting.
I like Jessica Chastain. She's a great actress. She actually fought for Octavia Spencer to get the same role pay on the role she was playing. So Jessica Chastain, if you want to support a white actress, she that bitch.
Yes. All right. And lastly, TV shows. 2 recommendations. Rick and Morty just ended season. Season 5 had his big finale.
Rick and Morty.
Yes.
Morty.
And
Rick.
Pickle Rick. Yeah. No. So with Rick and Morty specifically, it had its best finale. Like the finale answered a lot of lore questions and background stuff. People that have been asking questions about Rick's tragic backstory and what's canon, what's Evil Morty's plan. All that thing just got resolved and mostly resolved in the finale. So if you guys haven't watched Rick and Morty, you can basically watch seasons 1 through 4 on Hulu, and then by this time next year, the season 5 will be on Hulu as well. If you're not paying directly for Rick and Morty specifically. And lastly, Netflix. Don't
say it.
No, I'm not gonna say it. It's a show called Manifest.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Netflix has a show called Manifest, and it had got a cliffhanger ending in season 3, and then Netflix is being the homie, and they're saving it and reviving it for season 4. Yes, they're gonna give us season 4 where it's gonna resolve all the cliffhangers. So it's trending on Netflix. It's a good show. It's about a flight that takes off, and it essentially gets Avengers Endgame snapped for 5 years. because when they land, it's 5 years later, and they didn't experience like the passage of time, like what the hell is going on? Why did the world move on without us? And it's like a whole mystery. It's a lot of sci-fi elements. It's a bit of a drama. So yeah, a sci-fi drama.
This is the longest suggestion segment we've ever had.
No,
We got.
I'm
we got a
looking-
lot
I'm
to
looking-
say.
baby.
we've
I'm
had
gonna
people
get
where they
flamed.
don't know what to suggest, and we're sitting here.
I'm like, okay, well, really quick, Flames are recommended for game Outlast DLC. Anime Shadow
whistleblower.
House and TV show House. Slim Thugger, you up next?
So I'm gonna give you Red Dead Online if you want to play a good MMO. Like I said, the blood crimes, whatever DLC, great. Red Dead is still a shit online MMO, but it's fun to play. And if you want to play a good game that's gonna take you forever to get through, my favorite Final Fantasy 13, Lightning Farron, my girl to watch. Because it's coming out soon, the live action Cowboy Bebop. Go catch up on that anime. It is the fundamentals. If you watch anime and you haven't watched Cowboy Bebop, you're missing out. And Banana Fish, another good one. And for movies, Dark Knight, because that is my favorite Batman movie of all time. Oh, yeah, it is. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman comes up second, but Dark Knight, because we all know what happened after that. But just go enjoy some gaming this week, y'all.
Last but not least, our guest of the evening, Des. What are your suggestions for the people to watch and or play?
So if you want to check out a game and you're a huge Final Fantasy fan and you have Apple products like an iPad or like iPhone or just a Mac, there's a game that's only been released on that platform called Fantasian. It's really dope. It's got like 4.7 out of 5. And it actually, I'm going to say these names wrong, but it was written and produced by Hironobu Sakaguchi. And then the music was done by Nobu Umatsu. And they are best known for their work on the Final Fantasy series. So if you love Final Fantasy, definitely check those games out. The first part's already out. I already played it, and the second part's coming out really soon. For movies, I'm a huge Transformer fan, and I love the 1986 movie. And for the 35th anniversary, they're actually releasing it worldwide in theaters again, at limited theaters. But that's for September 26th and September 28th. So if you want to see it in theaters on the big screen, just type it in and find a theater near you so you can watch it.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we know
Listen,
what
I got
Fame is
one
about to
suggestion.
suggest.
Maybe. I
I
got
know.
one suggestion. I'm gonna be really quick. Kate,
I was gonna say it, but I was like, I don't want to take that thunder from you.
please watch Kate. Woody Harrelson, Mary Winstead, absolutely amazing from beginning to end, non-stop action. Please go watch it. It's also trending on Netflix. It's in the top
Yes.
10. Definitely
It's
worth to
number
watch
one.
if you have.
You want
It's
to know
number
how
one.
trending it is? Because it's also trending. I think it's number 6 here in Canada. For it to trend in US and Canada is very rare, so it's
Ooh.
trending.
Please, it's like an hour and 40 minutes, and it's everything you want in an action film. So ridiculously good.
Let me
Listen,
let me ask
ahead.
you real quick. Is it Crank or with the girl?
No.
No.
Okay.
Crank is crazy.
No.
This is not. No, this is different.
Yeah, this is definitely not that. Please watch it, and then call me next Wednesday. Tell me what you think, because it's legitimately good. I mean, it's not just like great action scenes. No, it's great acting as well. Like it's really good. Crank was just a bunch of action, like nonstop. You know,
Because we
you
know
know,
Jason Statham can't act.
Yeah.
Honestly,
but this like Mary Winstead did her thing in this. Like,
she.
holy cow! And of course, Woody Harrelson could do no wrong. I mean, he can do no wrong, right? So
Yeah.
definitely worth to watch. Listen, tomorrow we'll have a special episode of Take Two. I will not be there. That makes it special. No,
No,
but it will be.
Without you, it's not special because I can't talk about Marvel with Baron because he doesn't watch What If
Yeah.
and all the Marvel shows.
We love Take Two because Take Two has a couple like double meaning, because it's like the second, like a Take Two of Double XP, and then it's Take Two with me and Hugger. So that's pretty awesome. Of course, you guys get to hear Dallas' voice every Thursday. But tomorrow is Take Two with 3 people. It would be Baron, Hugger, and Miss Bubbles. Friday, Peep Game with Dallas and Lil Cognito. Saturday, Ready Press Play. Sunday, Star-Crossed Gamers. Monday, 15 Minutes of Fame. Maybe. Tuesday, Ready Press Movies. As we
Did you forget Ready Press Play?
press play for Saturday. I didn't forget.
Okay.
No, he said it. He said it.
Yeah.
I was just looking at Chakalaka like he needs some more because I'm trying to give him some more. He did so much for us in the last 72 hours that we need to give him extra.
I promise I didn't forget. And then next Wednesday, Double XP Podcast returns. We're working on a awesome guest who has already agreed to come on. We're just working on scheduling, and we're hoping that next Wednesday will be the day we're able to work things out with this guest. Trust me, you guys will want to be here. With all of that said, congratulations, you guys leveled up to 172. This was the Double XP Podcast. Make sure you got your gaming news from LV1gaming.com. Make sure you follow these two awesome writers, Dez and Chakalaka. They are doing their thing at LV1gaming.com, and I am super appreciative and super happy to have these two on my team because they are killing it. Show them all the loves in the world. You guys have a great one. We're out.
사랑해.